them to YouTube so they could go back and watch them again if needed, if they're interested in the service. So we have for the presentation today, we have Laura and Allison from Ocean County Achievement Center, and then we have Pam from Hope Sheds Light. They'll be talking about services that are relevant to the youth and families that we work with. So Laura and Allison, you could get started whenever. You could share your screen, start your presentation, and then we will have time for a Q&A after.
Laura, thank you so much. Allie can share the
Yeah,
for me,
I'm pulling it up.
Okay, I'm Laura Dunn from the Achievement Center. This is my coworker Allison or Allie, who works directly with the RAP program. I currently right now work directly with the Title II program. I know it could all be very confusing, so we're hoping that after this presentation and maybe after some questions go around, it might be a little bit more clear, the umbrella and everything underneath the Achievement Center. So again, I'm Laura Dunn from the Ocean County Achievement Center, which is held at Ocean County College. Our director here is Gina Oposki. She is the Community and Workforce Development Director. Then we have Allison McNamee. She's the Program Instructor and Advisor, and I'm Laura, the Advisor Case Manager for Title II. I'm not going to go through all of this since it is recorded. This is great, so you guys can go back and take a picture of the screens so that you have our information. I could also put our information in the chat if you'd like to, because a lot of times when people are referring to the Achievement Center, you have a lot of questions, and that's okay. You could always just give us a call at our extension, and we'll be happy to answer any questions you might have. But we do have an ESL program here, English as a Second Language, which falls under Title II. And the advisors for that program are Raquel Olivio, Jarrett Van Oliphant, and Claudia Ali. And then for HSE or high school equivalency under Title II would be myself, Jarrett, and Sue Boss, and she is the program manager for that. And then we have, of course, the Work Readiness Assistance Program, which is RAP. And under that grant, we have Allie and Gina. We do partner along with some community partnerships, which would be Georgian Court, Ocean County PIC, and the Helms Academy. And you're going to hear a little bit more about that later on in our presentation, but I just wanted to put that out there and tell you who we partner with. Okay, so this is one of Allie and my our favorite slides, because we really want everybody to understand that the Ocean County Achievement Center is the umbrella, and under that umbrella we have two grants. We have Title II and the RAP program. So the Achievement Center is kind of the heading, and underneath that we have two programs available to our students who come in and who are referred to us, Title II and RAP. We are located here at Ocean County College in the Workforce and Professional Education Department. I know it's a lot. The Continuing Learning Center, we're in building number 4. If anybody ever wanted to come in and see us or meet with us or kind of see where the students are, you can always make an appointment with myself or with Allie, and we'd be happy to show you around. So the Achievement Center for Title II, so that first little note underneath the umbrella, Title II is high school equivalency preparation class. So this is for students who may have left high school many, many years ago, and they're coming back and they really want to get their high school diploma, and they just need that basic education to kind of get them back up to speed to where they need to be so that they can pass that test. Now, the test is called GED. That's the name of the test. But when they pass all 4 sections of that test, they will get a high school diploma. We have adult basic education and transition classes, ESL classes, and with those classes, they get case management, career navigation, workshops, family literacy events, financial literacy workshops, which we bring in a financial advisor, and the students get to sign up for these other workshops so that they can learn a little bit more about finances or family literacy. We also offer boot camp, and boot camp is for those students who may have passed. This is just the most popular. They've passed everything. However, they're just having a really hard time passing the math section. I know I would be there. So they just come in for about a week or so, and they study exactly what they need to in the math section for the test. And then they go and they take their test and, hopefully they pass it. If not, they have 2 other tries to pass their test. The boot camp doesn't always only have to be for math. It could be for other subjects too. But mostly when our students come in for boot camp, it's for math. We also offer IET, which is Integrated Education Training, which means that during the semester, specifically with our ESL students, we offer some type of training, whether it be customer service and sales, culinary, healthcare, or also digital literacy. So the last IET that we offered were culinary and customer service. And those students were successful in that IET and that they came out with a certificate in customer service and sales and also a culinary foundation certificate, which also gave them a ServSafe certificate as well. And this is something that they can use and show their employers so that they can either, move up in their position at their job or get another job. Title II serves adult learners who are 16 or older. They do have to be signed out of high school. And when they come in to enroll, they have to show us that unenrollment form from their high school. They cannot still be attending high school and come into either one of the programs. They have to be signed out first. Or they have to be an English language learner. The work readiness curriculum is built into classes that are 10 weeks each. This kind of varies sometimes because we tried to do a 12-week, we tried to do a 15-week, however, 10 weeks seems to be the right number so far until it changes again. However, it should be fine for now. So we are running 10 weeks, winter, spring, summer, and fall. And the instructional hours per week are 6 hours per week in person only. We are not offering any online classes. So for Title II, for the HSE classes, those are Mondays and Wednesdays from 6 until 9. And for ESL, there are Tuesdays and Thursdays. However, we have a morning session, which is 9 till 12. We also have an evening session, which is 6 till 9. The class structure is managed enrollment. And again, like I said before, in person only. During the class, as I mentioned before, in addition to the IETs, we also have guest speakers on wellness, immigration, mental health, family planning, and other subjects that we think might pertain to our students or what we think the need might be for our students. This time around in our HSE program, we tend to see that we have a lot more students younger. So they're, in the 16 to 17, 18 range. So they need a little bit different services maybe than other learners who are coming back after many, many years of not being in school. So we try to get our speakers to come in and talk to our students based on what their needs are. These are some of the online platforms that we use in Title II. One of them is Aztec, which is a really wonderful platform for our students to use, because when they take the test, they're able to come on, and if they're not passing, they can use Aztec as one of their online platforms. BoardWorks is another one. And another thing that they use for online is in the ESL program is Burlington English and career surveys in My Plan. Another part of Title II, and also with the RAP program, but Allie will be explaining a lot of the RAP program to you. For our Title II students, each student will have a case manager. And within that, they can come to their case manager with any issues that they may have. So if they need library services, or if they need counseling services, disability services, anything else that they may need, we can always, try to get them on the right path to the services that are appropriate for them. Some students come to us and they utilize our food pantry here at the college. So whatever it may be, we try our best to get them in the right direction to the services that they need. That's it for Title II. So basically in Title II is prepping the students for adult education and preparing them to take that test for the GED. It's 2 nights a week. Right now we don't have any morning classes, but come the winter session, I believe that we will again. And those classes are Mondays and Wednesdays from 6 till 9. And hopefully we have the morning class again, and that will be from 9 till 12. I'm going to hand it over to Allie so she can talk to you about the RAP program. And then afterwards, we can take any questions anybody might have.
All right. Thank you, Laura. So the Work Readiness Assistance Program is strictly for students ages 16 to 24. We partner with Ocean County PIC, so they must be eligible through Ocean County PIC in order to make it through into our program. The eligibility process, right? Students will come to us and they'll say that they're interested in our programs or services. We will gather some documentation from them and then send them over to Ocean County PIC. And this is where they handle the eligibility. So these are some of the documents that are required and accepted from Ocean County PIC in order to be enrolled in the program. So it's like your birth certificate, driver's license, or state of New Jersey with current address, the ID, and the letter of withdrawal from the school that they had last enrolled at or were attending at. So some highlights that we have in the program, in the RAP program, are career exploration. We have a 1-week leadership academy. We do intense job placement. We do offer a student success college course for students if they do want to dip their toes into the water a little bit of what college is like. We help them find and keep employment. We also have some training opportunities I'll talk about, and then education exploration and assistance. We also offer CPR and first aid certificates and credentials, as well as customer service and sales and OSHA. So usually when students come into the RAP program, they start off with this 7-week career exploration course. So it's the exploration of career pathways and entrepreneurship, which we call ECP for short. So some of their weekly topics are skill identification, healthcare, technology, hospitality, all of that stuff. We also talk about work skills, resume development, mock interviews, job search methods, and barriers to employment. Our schedule for ECP is in person, 9:30 a.m. to 3 p.m., 20 hours a week, usually Monday through Thursday, with 15 hours of instruction and 5 hours of on-the-job learning. All courses in the RAP program are pass-fail, and we do not provide transportation, unfortunately. And attendance is mandatory for all 7 weeks, so trying to get students to manage their appointments, work, vacation, all that stuff around the schedule is preferred. So students also complete a 1-week Leadership Academy and Service Learning program, which we call Tapuku. It's a system that we use, and it stands for The Only Person You Cheat Is You. That is Monday through Friday, 9:30 to 3 p.m. 3 days of instruction and 2 days of service learning. So going out into the community and working with them to kind of better the community. So we've gone to the Toms River Field of Dreams, Popcorn Park Zoo, Caddis Island. We also go to JBJ. And they must pass the ECP and Leadership Academy prior to moving to the next step, which is the high school equivalency preparation provided by the Goodwill Helms Academy. So after they do the 1-week program, they do the 7-week program, they move on to their high school equivalency preparation. So enrollment's determined by PIC, so then they get case management through them as well. It's an online program that's monitored by a facilitator and instructor in the classroom so that they can see kind of where they're at and what their strengths are, maybe where their weaknesses are, and what they need to work on a little bit more to pass the test. And then they need to complete at least 9 hours a week. The more hours, the better, though, so that they can be better prepared to take the tests. And then once they pass all 4 of those tests, we have an annual graduation each year. It's really great to see the students celebrating. So if they pass in December, then that next June, they're invited to our graduation to walk across the stage. We run it like a real graduation, and it's really awesome to see the students and their families together celebrating. Now, of course, when you're working with students ages 16 to 24, incentives are big. So we do try to incentivize them by using Uber gift cards, AMC movie tickets, Wawa gift cards, and then we also help them with getting their permit and with driving lessons. And these are some of the training opportunities that I talked about earlier. So we have Ocean County College courses, the Student Success Seminar. We have occupational training, so that is eligible through Ocean County PIC, as well as a paid work experience component, and on-the-job training. And I know I kind of breezed through the RAP program, and I'm sure there are going to be a bunch of questions, so I'll open the floor now. But also, if you ever have any questions, you can just email us at achievementcenter@ocean.edu.
Before we go on to questions, I just want to add that anyone from Title II who gets their high school diploma is also welcome to join in the graduation that we have in June, and it's a wonderful event here at the college.
Any questions that anyone has for the Achievement Center? I know I had a question just with referral, like the referral process. What does that look like?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we do have a document that we can forward you guys that you fill out with the students' information or the participants' information, as well as their parent or guardian's information, depending on their age. So we can send that out to you as well, to send out to the rest of the folks. Or you could just give us a call or an email and say, hey, I have this student or this participant that might need your services.
Perfect.
For RAP, the participant has to get sent through PIC, and then PIC approves them and then sends it back to us. It kind of goes through a chain. For Title II, if anyone is interested in taking the GED or ESL class, they can just call the college directly and speak with one of us. It's usually Allie or myself who's kind of taking those phone calls and determining, should we give this student the RAP information, or is this person appropriate for Title II? We kind of stream it out that way. But if it's just for Title II, then we can email them a link for the next orientation, which fills up very, very quickly for ESL. The last orientation that we had, the list filled up in about 2 hours. So that population and the ESL classes are so popular. So we just tell everybody, make sure you give us a call early so we can get that link out for you. And then they just fill out their information on the link and they come to the orientation. But for RAP, it's a little bit more entailed with the application process that we can send out to you guys.
Okay, perfect.
Do you have an idea of like the average age of your students? Do they trend younger or older or is it all across the board?
For Title II, I would say it's all across the board. It really is all across the board. I think we have everybody from ages 16 to 52, you know. But for the RAP program, where we serve students ages 16 to 24, but I would say that, and maybe Allie, tell me if you agree, lately we've had a lot of younger students coming through, a lot of younger students.
Yeah, I think the oldest student that I've had in the last year was turning 20 in the program, so it's usually 16 to 19.
Okay, so I mean, I would love to reach out to you guys just to talk
Sure.
about, and you'll hear in our presentation some of the things we're trying to do. I think it just would marry up really well.
Sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Is there like a cap off on enrollment? How many students you're allowed to have in each program? And when it does get capped off, does that roll over into the next semester automatically, or do they need to reapply?
So it's a little bit different for each program. So for Title II, it depends on the semester. But for ESL, it's open to about 400 students. However, the next semester might be only 100 because we do have a lot of the returning students who also have to sign up just like anyone else. So they can roll over, but they also have to be on the list as well. And I think that's the one that fills up super fast. For the high school class, there's a lot of seats open, and there's typically still room at the end of our orientation, but the students have to be at orientation in order to start the class. So if they don't come to our orientation, then they're unable to begin the class. And we don't do a waiting list where it's say, we had 100 spots, but only 50 showed up, so now we can take 50 people. That's not how it works. So whoever's here and shows up, that's who's going to be attending. And so for RAP, it's a little bit different.
Yeah, so for the RAP program, we have open enrollment, and since the application and referral process is a little bit different than Title II, whether they came through a referral directly to the Achievement Center or through Ocean County PIC, it depends on how long that process is going to take due to gathering documentation, showing up for appointments and things like that. It could take 2-3 months. I've had students where it's still taken 4, 5, 6, 7 months for them to get into the program. And we run our 1-week and 7-week courses at different times throughout the year. And we try to match it up with like when we're getting a big influx of referrals sent back to us. So we capped off at 15 for each of our groups because we want to try and keep it a small group. 15 is pretty big, but usually we try to keep it as small as we can. And then if we have like a whole bunch that we missed because we capped off at 15, we try to run another one directly after the other.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Any other questions? Well, I think this was really informative, so thank you both so much.
Thank you.
If you want to send over that form, to me, feel free, and I could send it out to our care management staff. And feel free to hang on if you want to see the Hope Sheds Light information from Pam. Pam, you can take it away.
Thank you. We're not as detailed as you guys, but let me see if I can share my screen. If I see where that is here. I'm not as familiar with, oh, I see it. how do I get to, do I just,
So
I'm-
when you click share, you could click screen and that'll share your entire screen, or you could click window and you could click the specific window that the presentation is in.
got you. I'm sorry, it's taking me a while. I can't
It's
figure
okay.
it out.
You could also email it to Katie or I, and we could share if that's easier.
Yeah, because I just don't see it in the selection. I mean, if I do my entire screen, I don't know if that'll work. I'll send it to you guys if that's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, you lose your screen. Like you're not going to be able to see most of us if you share your screen. But we can let you know. Or just send it. That works too, whichever.
Okay. It's a short presentation, but should I send it to you, Katie?
Sure.
Of course, it's not cooperating. Anyway, I'm going to start chatting. So just to get it going. I'm Pam. I'm the CEO here at Hope Sheds Light. And for those of you who don't know about us, we're a local community-based organization that was started. We're actually in our 10th year. Oh gosh, I'm sorry. This is not, I don't know where I saved it now. Oh my God, I'm so embarrassed. We are in our 10th year and we were started by 3 families who lost their children to drug overdoses. And we provide non-clinical peer-to-peer recovery support services for anyone in the community who's been impacted by the opioid epidemic, substance use disorder. So it really, we run like the full gamut of who we can serve. Predominantly, we work with family members. I sent it to you, Katie, who have a loved one who's either in active addiction or in recovery, who understand, you know, because we come from the perspective that addiction affects the whole family. So um, even if you're not the person that has the diagnoses, you're on that journey with them. You're on that roller coaster. You're experiencing a lot of trauma and a lot of confusion. Our system is not easy to navigate. So what we do is we have a 24/7 helpline that also has text and chat capability. Most of our callers are people who are family members looking to help their loved one. So we help navigate the system for them. We have family support meetings on Tuesday evenings in Toms River. We have a grief group on Thursday evenings in Toms River as well for those people who've actually lost someone that they love. And the reason that we've really gotten involved with Ocean Partnership is because we're obviously seeing the impact of addiction hit our young people, either through their direct use or through the use, the loss of a friend, a family member, or active addiction of a friend or a family member. So one of the things that we have started and launched the last week is a youth version of the Recovery Center. It's brand new, but our vision there is to be able to support young people in the same way that we support adults. So we've been trying to do this for a while. We want to start by offering more social recreational opportunities for young people to come. We're not necessarily, and that's a good slide. We're not necessarily looking for only for the young person who's maybe coming out of inpatient treatment or involved in outpatient treatment, but also those individuals who've been impacted and really are looking to advocate for youth resources, advocate for that youth voice in recovery, and talk about their experiences, what it's been like at, losing a loved one, what it's like to have a friend who's struggling. And so through that process, we've also launched what's called the Youth Voices for Recovery. It's a podcast, and we have a couple of young people who have lost their siblings, and so they're sharing their story. The idea is to lower the stigma, create a space that's for young people to feel comfortable to talk about their struggles, to pursue a drug-free lifestyle, and build a new peer group, a new peer group that has a social norm really that's set at a sober lifestyle. So this is our mission statement. And then if you just go to the next slide, I believe the next slide will kind of, you can skip that too, because I just kind of talked about that briefly. Back in 2020, we opened the Recovery Center. It was focused predominantly on adults, but really the Recovery Center for Youth has the same guiding principles. And we believe fully that there are many pathways to recovery. They're not always abstinent all of the time, although for us that's a goal we strive for, especially for young people. But we understand that at this point, there are many different pathways to recovery. And so what we want is for people to come in and understand that they're around other people who are non-judgmental and are using destigmatizing language and offering opportunity in a harm reduction fashion for other aspects of their life, for them to build resources in terms of their job skills, maybe what their housing situation might be fragile. So we have opportunity for sober living placement. We have an opportunity for people who are in school, for example, a little bit different than the previous presenter. We do use Aztec, but sometimes our young people have lost a lot of learning time due to their addiction. So they can come and actually get assessed, and we can see where they need to improve in some of their academic learning so they can stay in school. And if they choose to leave school, then then they're already on that journey to at least get prepared for their GED. But we also do get a lot of adult learners who are coming back after years of being out of school and looking to further pick their education back up and further their career opportunities. So everything that you see here that's appropriate when we first opened for adults, we're looking to replicate that for youth. We have a group of young people who are serving as an advisory committee. We're really listening to what they have to say in terms of what their experiences are and how we can help build their strengths and be attractive to a younger audience. It's separate. It's upstairs. It's its own space. And so any way that you feel you might be able to help us with that, or like, as I said, our initial stage, we're looking to line up what I think we're going to call it a Canvas and Cocoa event, so that we can have some, and I'm hoping that maybe we can speak to our previous presenters about getting a flyer out to recruit some attendees. But yeah, so I believe we're going to call it Canvas and Cocoa. And we just want to start that way. Let's get people comfortable with the space, maybe get a few more young people who want to speak on the podcast, have an advisory committee of younger audience, and see where we go from there. But the goal will be to invite in other resources. Maybe we'll have a staff person who can start a support group. We have a staff person who might be able to do some case management. So we're waiting for that opportunity to kind of ramp up. It can go to the next slide. At the end of the day, the idea is to help offer. Addiction is a chronic disease. We want people to understand that this is a self-directed, self-paced, long-term journey, and we expose them to things like 12-step program, like refuge recovery, like smart recovery, for them to pick a program that might match up best with their belief system, and help them understand that they're transitioning off of a dependency on a higher level of need and care and into a long-term self management of a chronic disease. Next slide. Yeah, this is, everybody at our office is somebody who's been impacted by addiction. Again, we really emphasize peer services. I do have one staff person who's a clinician, because again, dipping our toes into the young people's world, we want to make sure that we have someone who is able to assess if there's a crisis or something else going on that's beyond our skill set. But for the most part, they'll be interacting with other young adults who are in recovery, who are certified peer recovery specialists, and who really interact by sharing our experiences, our strength, our journey, and offering a sense of hope that there is a full, vibrant, fun, successful life available to anybody in recovery. So next slide. So the way that shows up, like I said, we have a helpline. We have an online resource guide that's maintained regularly and updated like on the fly, and it's searchable. We do a lot of community outreach events. It's another opportunity, I feel, to engage our younger audience. We'd love to have some kind of not just social recreational where we go bowling or something, but also to have them from start to finish plan a community event that is interactive and fun and pulls in an audience and gets them involved in civic engagement, but also connecting to their peers in a different way. For adults, we have a workplace wellness program. That's really embedding recovery services in a workplace. That's not really prepping for work readiness. It's more accessing workplaces and setting up a way for people who are in recovery to feel supported in their work environment. We offer some ongoing wellness programs, one-on-one recovery coaching. We're on the college campus. We're starting an all recovery support group there. We work closely with the counseling department to have some community events. I don't know if you saw the last one we just had, Recovery Speaks. It was a big event out in the main quad, and we had speakers and food and music, and it was great. All of that's designed to help. I have identified that, stigma is one of the primary barriers to people reaching out for help. And so we're trying to drop that shame, drop that stigma, and create an environment where people feel a lot more comfortable reaching out for help sooner. And that especially goes for our younger audience. And we're kind of taking a stab at our youth programs. We're seeing what fits and doesn't fit, which is why we're committed to getting a youth advisory committee going. Wellness, it's hit or miss. Some of them like it, some of them don't. The GED and academic support, we get some activity. The civic engagement, we have some that'll get involved in all of our events. So we're open to whatever is going to work, and whatever the younger audience now is giving us in terms of from their perspective, what we should be launching, which is we're excited about the Canvas and Cocoa, for example. I'll get a flyer out to everybody as soon as it's set up. So I don't know if I even have another slide. Moving forward, we have expanded. We're in Monmouth County as well, doing a lot of the same work. We have a heavy sort of network into the law enforcement. We provide recovery diversion program support to help people avoid a long-term sort of criminal history if the charge is minor and something that is divertible. They can get involved in our office, so we can work closely with law enforcement to see about diverting those charges. We, as I said, have some large anti-stigma campaigns taking place, the workplace initiative, and now the launch of the Youth Recovery Center. So that's our slide presentation. Thank you.
Thanks, Pam. I want to take any questions now for Hope Sheds Light, but I did just want to let everyone know that the podcast, first off, it's so amazing. it's such a good medium for, our youth listen to them, young adults, so they're really blowing up. So you can listen to the Recovery Speaks podcast on anywhere you get your podcast. So they're available on Apple, and widely available across those apps that we use. So
Thanks, Caitlin.
Yeah, I have to second that. I was going to say the same thing after leaving the ribbon cutting last week and speaking to Mike, who hosts the podcast. I was really impressed. The quality is great. It was just amazing. And last week the speaker was a young man from the LGBTQ community. So it's like they're touching on different areas and the different people that we serve, different populations and demographics, which is great too. So.
Yeah, one thing I didn't mention is that we actually finally got, we went through a process, and Alateen's going to be running an Alateen group upstairs on Saturdays. I believe that starts in a couple weeks in mid-November. So I'm hoping to kind of marry up the Canvas and Cocoa, so that if there are some people coming to Alateen, that then they can just roll right into the Canvas and Cocoa event. So.
great.
Mhm.
Any questions? So Pam, if we have a youth that's interested, how would they go about being referred, or should the care manager reach out to you?
Yeah, Victoria's been listening to us all along. She's there. So it's just victoria@hopeshedslight.org. So
Great.
Yeah.
Great. We'll make sure that we send that out in the email to all the care
flyers,
managers.
I'll send you our flyers as they're, once I secure all the dates. It's hard. Alateen, we can't promote it. I'll send you our calendar, and it'll be on our calendar, but it's they're very strict about how it's a program of attraction, not promotion. So I'm not allowed to really create a flyer and promote it, but I can highlight it on our calendar and let people know it's here and happening. And then obviously when the Canvas and Cocoa is done, I'll send that to you as well.
Perfect.
Can you also send that to the Achievement Center email as well?
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Well, thank you so much to the presenters from the Achievement Center and from Hope Sheds Light. These are such, amazing resources for our families, so relevant. So I will send out the recording and all of the information that was presented on to our staff. And then if you guys from the community organizations have any questions, you could feel free to reach out to myself or Katie. All right. Thank you all so much. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Bye.